thoughts on pro bono work. Is there any, when you take on your pro bono assignments, is there any special kind of cases that you look for to take on as pro bono assignments?
See, litigation practice, let me tell you, preface this before I come to your question. Litigation today has become extremely important. It's not only important in the courts, it's important to the society, because rule of law is the very foundation of democracy. And unless you have rule of law, which includes the judicial system, which is very sound and which is capable of rendering, quick and, impartial justice, I think people's faith in judicial system is fast disappearing, with almost 40 million pending cases and time gap of almost 30 years or so to get ultimate justice from the lowest court to the highest court in the country. I think people are now slowly resorting to other means, sometimes not so legal means, to get justice where they have suffered injustice. So litigation is undoubtedly extremely crucial for survival of democracy, and both civil and criminal litigations are equally important. With conviction rate, which is one of the lowest in the world today that we have in India, rule of law is fast breaking. So if you want to keep society secure from from people who commit offences with impunity, you need a very, very strong criminal justice delivery system. Now for that you need lawyers who really know good criminal law. You need public prosecutors who are able to defend the state in a very, very efficient manner. Unfortunately, the interest of young students into this branch of law, or even good lawyers, has declined or is declining very substantially. So that's one area which is very seriously neglected. Litigation per se is also not the first choice today. Take for example, good law colleges like Bangalore or Hyderabad or Jodhpur. Most of the graduates coming out of them, these institutions, first are looking for a corporate opportunity. They don't want to come into litigation. Litigation is challenging. You have to wait for some time before you can really make two ends meet. But having said that, unless lawyers realize that there is great place for them, there is a need to be in litigation practice, it's going to be very difficult to find the best talent coming into litigation. So that's something which young people have to understand, and I must say that opportunities are immense. You can really succeed in litigation tremendously. I know of many young people who have come, have faced stiff competitions, who have faced very serious challenges and yet have been very successful in litigation. So that's something which I would definitely like to. Now, as a lawyer, every lawyer must also be willing to do pro bono work. Whether you appear for the legal aid committee of the High Court or of the court that you may be practicing, or you appear for cases where judges appoint you as amicus, that's something which we must all be prepared to do with a smiling face. I mean, it's our duty, it's part of our duty. There are many cases which come to us. For example, I do many a times cases in a month where I find that although I have been briefed for for fees, but I find that the client is unable to bear the fees, and I'm more than happy many a times to tell the clients and the lawyers that I would be appearing without charging any fee, because people can't afford it. There are all kinds of situations. So pro bono work comes in various areas, and every lawyer, according to me, has a duty to accept pro bono work. And I think unfortunately there is no system today, but the legal aid committees, for example, must be revitalized to make sure that every lawyer, particularly successful lawyers, are given 5 to 10 cases at least per month to appear pro bono, which is not happening today. I mean, I have no doubt that even top lawyers like Mr. Salve or Mr. Nariman or others would be more than happy to appear in pro bono cases, and the legal aid committee must make sure that they are requested to appear for them. So that, I mean, take for example a contribution that people like Mr. Salve have made in as amicus in large number of matters. So it's something which should come, and people like Mr. Anil Diwan, for example, so many matters he has done as pro bono. I mean, he is one of the most respected names in our profession, extremely busy, but yet he always finds time to do pro bono work. So I think that kind of an opportunity every young man, every young woman at the bar must seize, because that gives a satisfaction which is very different from a satisfaction that you get in a paid brief, because you are doing something for the society, and I think it's a great opportunity.
So on an allied topic, not exactly related, we spoke to Mr. Soni Sarabji recently, and one of the things that he said was that just because a client can pay a lot of money doesn't mean that he should. So a lot of there's talk of escalating fee which is being charged at the at the senior counsel level. So what are your thoughts on that?
Look, I have my very serious. I personally feel I am a capitalist in that sense. In my heart, sympathy, and I always, allow that sympathy to guide me from time to time in given matters where I find that a client is unable to pay the fees. But having said that, I think that it's the market forces which must decide. For every activity, economic activity, and law is no longer a mere profession, it's become an economic activity in that sense. I think that there is nothing wrong about lawyers charging the fees that they can command. If you are in a position to command fees, I think there is nothing wrong about it, because ultimately every successful lawyer comes to the top with hard work, and he has to remain at the top only with hard work. The moment he tries to take it easy, he can be easily thrown off that stage. So I don't know why one should feel that the fees are being charged excessively. It's what the market is willing to pay. I mean, if you have today cases where the stakes run into 500,000, 5,000 or 20,000 crores of rupees, why should lawyer not charge the fees? I'm not for a moment suggesting that lawyers should charge the percentage fees which the American system allows. But I mean, our fees, even the high charging lawyers, their fees are minuscule compared to the amount of stakes which are involved in the matters that they appear. And if the corporate clients are willing to pay, I don't see there is anything wrong about it. So long as they are willing to do their pro bono work which is given to them, or which comes to them naturally in the course of their matters. I mean, if they have that sympathy, there's nothing wrong about it. They have to combine that.
So a little while back you spoke about people losing faith in the judicial system. So what are your thoughts on the current judicial corruption, and are there any measures that you think we can take to improve the system in the next 20, 30 years?
See, I mean, it's very difficult. Judiciary at this stage is in an extremely delicate situation. Let us understand one thing, that I think substantial majority of judges are extremely honest, hardworking and sincere. It's a different matter, the sheer pressure of work is not allowing them to render justice as quickly as possible, or that pressure may sometimes lead to mistake in their decision making process. Yes, few judges have given bad name to the judiciary from time to time, but then it can be easily corrected. With the appointment of the present Chief Justice, Justice Kapadia, for example, as Chief Justice of India, things have changed. If you have a person at the helm of the judiciary who is, the father of the judiciary, who is straightforward, then the message percolates down to every judge that with, honesty and sincerity you have to work. But otherwise, look, judges are not independent of society. It is the whole society which is today suffering from the syndrome of corruption. It's the individual who has to really fight this from within. We all have to really raise our bar, our standards. We have to really have zero tolerance for corruption, whether as lawyers or whether as judges. I mean, if I as a lawyer feel that my client is trying to contact a judge, I should be the first one to say that I will not appear for you. Now, this process comes slowly. It's not going to be very easy, because judiciary has been given independence under our constitutional scheme, and therefore judges, especially in High Court and Supreme Court, are untouchable, because that's the real strength of independence of judiciary. Otherwise, executive will try and take away that independence very easily. But yes, things will change. It has to be debated openly. It has to be discussed from time to time. And I think the judges in the Supreme Court, particularly the collegium members headed by the Chief Justice, must allow information to filter to them. through the right quarters. Unfortunately, what is happening is that today it is impossible for lawyers who are very highly respected and who can bring it to the notice of the judges about the erring judges. That information is never allowed to percolate.
Right.
So that's something which we have to change. We have to have a mechanism whereby judges, lawyers and others can have a kind of an interaction and discuss this openly, and maybe in times to come things will be different.
So are you optimistic about such a change?
Oh, of course, I mean, to somewhat extent I am optimistic, because as I said that if one man at the top can make a world of a difference, likewise every high court, if was headed by a chief justice who's honest and strict, I think the message can go down to the entire magistracy in the state,
Right.
that I will not tolerate any kind of a errant behavior. So it's not difficult. I mean, it's not difficult at all to find 20, 30, 50 or 100 chief justices of states who can give a very powerful message. So with zero tolerance policy, they can really send a very powerful message to the magistracy, and I think things can change very substantially in times to come.
So would you have any words of advice for people who are entering into the legal profession?
Yeah, I won't say I have a right to advise anybody, but I can definitely say that there is every reason for them to be hopeful about being successful in the legal profession. It offers great opportunity, and I can say after almost 32 years of practice that one of the best things about being in law, and particularly in litigation, is that you can never get bored and you never get tired. So it's extremely enjoyable, and it offers besides intellectual satisfaction, tremendous tremendous rewards, both in terms of financial rewards and other rewards, recognition, respect. So I think there is a great future in law, and every young man and woman who wants to come in, I think they can make it big.
Thank you so much, sir.
Thank you very, very much.